What's the deal, everyone? Welcome back to the studio. I'm Jeremy Dio, and today, well, I'm bringing something new into my channel, kind of. This is way less scripted. I'm going to be doing these more often. Now, I'm still going to be doing my big videos that I release every 2 to 3 weeks, but this is going to be more like a weekly kind of just talk with you, talk with the community. I've talked, or should I say, I have called this thing a bunch of different things in the past, but for now, we're just going to go with your questions are hard because it's hard to respond to all these questions, so I'm just going to do it in video format. So if you ever ask me a question and I answer that question in the future, I will be tagging that comment with the next video that answers it, if that makes sense. This is also where I'll be doing giveaways. I'll talk about the market, and basically this is just going to be me talking to you about things you want to hear about because you're asking me in advance. So some things we'll get to first. I've just got a list of here and here. Oop, there we go. All right, first thing to talk about. Ulanzi 100. I've talked about these things a lot. There's one right up there. Actually, there's two up there. There's one over here as a kicker light for me too. These things are on sale right now. Let me tell you exactly what it is. Adorama or B&H from January 20th to February 14th. If you screenshot the purchase and send it to the email up on the screen, you will get 25 bucks back via PayPal. Now, I think these things are super useful. So when I noticed that, I thought I would just let y'all know. Again, just till February 20th, I have like 4 of these things now. So if you like them, go check out the video up above. I give a review when I talk about real estate video and stuff. Next thing. Insta360 dropped this little teaser video, and you guys know I work with Insta360 a whole bunch. So what do you think of this little teaser video that we got going on right here? I'm curious as to what it is. I'm going to reach out to Tom later and see what it actually is, see if he can tell me what it is. Maybe I'll get a little advanced preview, like sometimes. I don't know. We'll find out. All right, so those are the 2 things I wanted to cover there. The next thing I want to talk about are some of the videos I'm going to be making, or should I say some of the videos I'm currently working on, so I can get your ideas on some videos you want me to cover. Now, here are a few videos I'm currently working on. One is my interview setup on site for agents, all the lighting gear and stuff behind the scenes that I use whenever I'm doing these agent on-site interviews. That's number 1. Number 2 is I'm working on talking about show and tour versus REO, since a lot of you have talked to me about that. The owner of Show and Tour, Josh, has reached out to me not too long ago. So I think he's going to be able to give me an advanced, like a little copy or a screening of the software behind the scenes, so I can do a more advanced talk or give you a basic rundown of the difference between those two. I also know that they just released a new version of the X4, the Peter McKinnon version, which I think is super cool. I don't really know what the difference between those two are. I believe Tom is going to send me out one of those so that way I can do a review and test it for the channel. So I assume there are at least a few things different from it than the X4, though I haven't looked at all the specs totally yet. Let me bump into one of your customer questions. Customer questions? That's not right. One of your subscription questions? One of your questions. How about that? We'll just leave it at that. All right. Jay Mello, there we go. I'll put it up on the screen right now. He says, now I'm not too well versed when it comes to a business, but my question is, do you operate as a business to where you can easily scale up, or do you primarily do all the business operations yourself? Now, I thought this was a good question and kind of what inspired me to change the way I'm going to answer these, because I can give a much better, well thought out version of this answer than I can just typing it with my big nonsensical thumbs. All right, here we go. So what I recommend is starting small and doing the work as much as you can for as long as physically possible, because that is what's going to allow you to make the most amount of money, and stockpiling that money is the way you're going to be able to bring on future creators, future administrators, editors, and stuff like that. Because here's the difference is once you start bringing on team members in the future, is those are all costs you're going to have to incur before you get reimbursed for them. So I have employees, and every employee gets paid usually before I get paid from the client for that job. The editors get paid the minute they edit the photos, not when the client pays for that job. So you have to have some money in the bank before you can start thinking about upgrading. But I do believe that everyone should have an eye on the prize of that upgrade later on. So what I'm saying is, if you're just starting off, Jay Mello, try and do as much as physically possible yourself. Find an editing team you like to work with for in the future, because I also recommend you have to be able to do everything yourself before you send it off to someone. There are always going to be issues. I talk about it a lot on my channel. The hardest thing to find is a reliable editing team. We Got Editors, I use them. They're partnering with my channel. They're using all of my editors and my editing teams because I find them very reliable. And it's been the biggest issue I've had. But either way, there are always going to be issues where something comes up last minute. And if you can't do the edits yourself or the work yourself, you're going to be in trouble. So before you find an outsource editor, learn how to edit the images how you want to present them, your brand representation, and then find an editor that matches those. If you start off right out the gate with using an editor, you're never going to learn how to edit these photos, and guaranteed in the future, that is going to cause a predicament and may actually cost you a client. It hasn't cost me any clients yet that I'm aware of, but either way. So always start small and upgrade your business when you need to. I'll talk about that a lot on my channel. I do a lot of gear reviews because I want you to know what's out there. I want you to know how to use what's out there and if it will work for your purpose. But generally speaking, when it comes to my business, I don't buy anything unless I absolutely have to. Every piece of gear I buy has to operate in the field for a bare minimum of 2 years before I'll even consider upgrading it. That includes cameras. We get in a lot of hype about the newest, latest, and greatest camera, but realistically speaking, for what we do, you don't need that. That is just ways the industry is trying to get you to spend more money that you don't need to. Just remember, this whole industry was based off of wooden boxes and glass plates for the longest amount of time. So you don't need the latest gear. Only buy it if it's going to make you money and you absolutely have to. All right, let's go on to the next question. The next question, actually, I guess that one kind of relays into the next question. This is from Young Su Fan. Boom, put it up on the screen. What video editor you use to put yourself in the video green screen? I will order from your link. I appreciate that. Always appreciate someone trying to represent the channel and help me out by helping yourself out. But either way, the green screen, it depends on which one it is. Now, I do the majority of my video edits myself, but recently I've been sending more of them out. I talk about it a few times in my past videos. I'm still too obsessive and I do all of my own color grading, but I digress. That aside, I do have an editing team. I just talked about them a minute ago. We Got Editors. They do green screening, or if you want to save yourself some money, you can download DaVinci Resolve, and I'm not 100% sure that it's available in the free version. I think it is. The paid version of DaVinci Resolve is like $300, so just keep that in mind. But it has an option called Magic Mask, and that's what I usually use when I'm doing it myself. But I will warn you that it's finicky. It's a lot of work to mess with. They make it sound like it's very easy. And if you're in front of something like a green screen or a plain background, I'm sure it is. But I use it to cut agents out of situations they were already in, like standing in front of the house talking or something like that, as you've seen in my previous videos. So I think that's what you're talking about. That can be a little more difficult with the Magic Mask. You just got to take more time. I do not personally have a tutorial on that, but if you go look around, I'm sure you'll find one. So I use DaVinci Resolve's Magic Mask whenever I can, but whenever I send it out to the outsource team at We Got Editors, they do that as well. You just leave that comment down in the description below. All right, let's get into the next comment, or should I say the last comment for this video. I don't want it to drag on too long. This is already at like 9 minutes. All right, this one is going over the Laowa 9mm that I use all the time with the Sony a7 IV for my real estate videos. All right, this is from Jeep JT Wheelin'. Boom, up on the screen. Here we go. This looks amazing on a full frame camera. I was hesitant to keep my Nisi 9mm, thinking, blah, blah, blah. You can read it. I don't need to read it to you, right? So here's the thing. My a7 IV is a full frame camera, but whenever I'm shooting this dang fly, I know you've seen my videos before. How does this fly get in here? I think it's just having friends that keep coming back. All right. Either way, this looks funny, and I bet it sounds funnier. There we go. All right. So when it comes to the Laowa 9mm, it is an APS-C lens. The a7 IV, whenever I shoot in 4K 60, goes into APS-C mode. So it's kind of like using the right lens with the right camera. Now, whenever I'm using something more like the FX3 that is a full frame that I can shoot 4K 60 in, I'm using the Laowa 12mm full frame ND, or 0D is what I think they call it, zero distortion. But that thing is super clean, super sharp and beautiful. It's actually my favorite lens. So it's the one I try and shoot on the most. But generally speaking, I'm also trying to keep lightweight. I don't mind the APS-C mode. None of my agents do either. As a matter of fact, I want to put something up on screen right now while I'm talking, because this is another thing, another video that I'm working on, something very interesting. So what I've done here is I've taken these photos of this house that's completely empty, and then I use virtualstaging.ai to virtually stage a few of these images. And then I'm using this other program that I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but just know I'm making a video about it. And it takes those videos, or takes those photos and turns them into video. Now, I've just released this to some of my clients, so I'm getting some data back on it, and that's why I haven't actually released this video yet, but it's extremely interesting to me. Now, will it compete with my full-fledged videos like this one that I'm showing right now up on the screen? That's kind of like my moneymaker, for lack of a better term. Agents pay me a lot of money for these. It'll never replace this. It's impossible. And I can get into that in the video I'm actually making, but I don't see it as a way to replace what I'm doing. I see it as a way to supplement my income, because if I can take photos that I just took of a house and turn them into videos for clients, well, it's kind of like the most advanced slideshow you can get. It's like a mix between Ken Burns and video. It's the next level of slideshow. Now, these are not super cheap, but they're also not super expensive. They're less than half the cost of my actual video to create, and I charge about half the cost to my clients. So I'll keep you all updated to that in the future, see how that goes on. Let me know down in the comments below. Again, any questions? Is there anything you want me to cover? Is there anything you didn't like my answer to? I'm sure there's at least one thing. Comment down in the questions below. What videos do you want me to make? All that jazz. You know, just let's be more personable here. Let's get some questions answered. I want to learn and I want to teach, and I want you to learn and I want you to teach. As a matter of fact, check this thing up on the screen. I don't want to give here, I'll put up their name along with it, but I do videos about how I attach my light to the top of my gimbal, and they actually attach their lights to the helmet, and they wear this helmet when they're shooting to light up the space. So there are so many different ways you can use the techniques that I'm teaching you if you just use your brains and a little smarts and kind of rig up things to work how you think it'll work best. Also, comment down in the below, or you can reach out to me with any examples of things that you have made or things that you've made with my techniques in the past. I'd love to feature them on the videos like this in the future, because I can just kind of put them up in the corner. Man, if you're wondering why I'm wearing this instead of this, I don't know what happened, but for the first time ever, I left my Rodecaster Pro out here, and we got some snow, and it was kind of like negative temperatures for a while. And today I tried to cut it on, and it will not cut on. I don't know what's up with that. I'm getting this actual like triangle hazard of death when I cut it on. Any of you have any suggestions here? I'm going to reach out to Rodecaster, or to Rode, I guess. It's funny. It's like it froze, and then I got a brand new super fancy. I don't know if you can see it right back here. Here we go. I got like an actual Rode brand mic cord instead of just a regular old no-name one. And literally, I replaced that and turned it on, and now it doesn't work. So weird, right? Oh well, I'll get it fixed myself. Keep rocking and roll. Enjoy what you're doing. Make smart business decisions. And of course, like, subscribe, comment down below, use affiliate links, all that stuff. You know what's up. I'll catch you next time. Yeah, I'll catch you next time.